Here the head coach of the Cavaliers, Damron. Coach, coming off a big shutout victory over Urbana University, and Marquise Hamilton named MEC Defensive Player of the Week. If you could talk a bit about Marquise's play, and as two kids now you've had one Player of the Week and the position change, how it's helped not only Marquise but the defense as well.
Yeah, I think it's solidified. I think it's got probably our 5 best defensive backs on the field. Because I think that K-John Coley has added something for us at free safety, but Marquise is definitely better, closer to the ball he plays. I think he needs to be around the action a little bit more. That makes him focus a little bit. So I think he had a good game. He's been good for us all year long. He got hurt early on, and it took him a little while to get back to being himself, but he's really played well since then.
The old adage in football is win the turnover battle and you win the game, and you did that last week at Urbana. Touch on that a little bit. I know it's something you guys have been emphasizing, not only holding on to the ball, but creating some of those turnovers.
Yeah, that's been our bugaboo the whole year. Offensively, we've not done a great job of possessing the football, and defensively, we hadn't created a lot of turnovers, but it was good to see us do that, and it has been a big point of emphasis, and I think it's starting to show.
2 weeks in a row, you've limited penalties. We sat here 3 weeks ago and we were near the bottom of the league in penalties, and now it's still not where you want to be, but you're creeping more toward the middle of the pack. Talk about that a little bit and how that's helped you, get off the field on defense and maybe get yourself in a little bit more manageable situations on offense.
Yeah, that's been bad early on in the year. We had too many positive gains on the offensive side of the ball that would be brought back, or we would jump false start or something on a 2nd and 6, which puts you at 2nd and 11. So that's something that we've really tried to hammer home with, and not only that, but penalties on punt returns and kickoff returns. That's been the biggest ones, is how many of those we've had, because I believe we'd be leading the conference in punt returns if it wasn't for some silly penalties that we've had that have really cost us some football games. So we've really tried to emphasize that, and I think our kids have understood that, and the last couple of weeks have been better.
You touched on special teams a little bit, and Trevor Owens, he had a stretch there where he hadn't made a field goal, and he makes one there at the end, but really his leg in the punting game and how he's helped flip the field. He had a punt of 79 yards at Wesleyan and 81 yards last week. If you could talk about Trevor a little bit and how that's helped, especially in some of these field position games with your defense.
Yeah, there's been several games this year where it's been, we're just trying to play field position because we're not clicking offensively, and I wish I could say it nicer than that, but that's a fact. And Trevor's done a great job. I'd like to see our cover guys get down there and keep it from going in the end zone. But Trevor's done a good job. He needs to get more consistent kicking his field goals. When you're not the most explosive offense in the world and you have a chance to hit some field goals and get 3 points on the board, you've got to get that done, and those are big points.
Some of these young receivers, you see some of these guys emerging. Last week Rob Jones, first collegiate touchdown. Alonzo Brown has stepped up in the receiving game. Are you starting to develop some depth at that position?
Yeah, we've kind of been forced to. We practiced one day, I think it was last week or the week before, we just had 5 kids healthy at wideout, and it forced those kids. They got a lot of reps that week. But we knew Rob was a good player, and he's coming on, and Alonzo the same way. So it has allowed us to do some things there. Matt Felton is playing really good for us. Eli Marks is playing good for us. We just got to do a better job of getting it to them when they're open. We're still, Tanner's doing a good job, but he still needs to get to be more consistent, with what we're asking him to do.
Opportunities come, and another kid I think that's really kind of seized that opportunity, Seth Phillips, in the last couple of weeks. Talk about his play a little bit and what you've seen out of him, another guy that's kind of just been thrust into duty.
Yeah, we weren't expecting Seth. Our hope was to just let him redshirt this year and learn how to play tight end, because he was a high school wide receiver, but we recruited him, told him he was going to be a tight end, asked him to put on some weight over the summer, and he came in and actually kind of looked like someone that could be a tight end just physically, and he has been thrusted into duty. Him and Frank Mahoney both. Frank didn't play the last 2 weeks because of an injury, but he did some good things in the Concord game, and so with Jake being down, probably done for the year, those 2 kids have really had to step up and be contributors.
Looking at West Virginia Wesleyan, they were winless going into last week and knock off Charleston, kind of the upset of the MEC. Touch on the Bobcats a little bit, what you've seen, and it's a quarterback that we saw last year in Luke Casey, who's shown this year, I think he's 2nd in the league in passing yards.
Yeah, he's a good player. He does a great job of getting the ball out, and they're doing a good job of taking advantage of what he can do, and so they've been in some games. They play extremely hard and do a lot of good things defensively. They've they've done good against us the last 2 years. It's a team that we haven't beaten since I've been here, you know. So, but Coach Smith does a good job with them, and I think records are always deceiving. You know, when you have close games, one or two possession games, they can go either way, which we're all aware of this year with, you know, the season that we've had. So it's going to be a barn burner every week, and this league is a barn burner, and so we're going to have to play well to have a chance to win it.
Fans, a reminder, kickoff Saturday, 2 o'clock from Smith Stadium. If you can't make it, you can watch the game live on UVAWiseCavs.com. Good luck, Coach.
Thanks, Darryl.